Hello, puppet. I'm gonna fucking
State your name for the record.
I'm gonna knock shit down because I keep pulling the mic. Okay. What's up, guys? Today's episode is super fun because I am here with Breanna Bortner, who, if you don't know yet, is basically my new other half. She is amazing, and we wanted to come on today and kind of talk a little bit about how we met, how we found each other, because I think that you guys might be able to connect a little bit with just kind of the pure amazingness of how we sort of came together. So I want to talk to you guys about that a little bit today. So, Breanna.
Hey.
Okay. So, Breanna, why don't you tell them a little bit about how you found me? Because I feel like I know a little bit about it, but maybe not the whole story.
Okay. So it all started on a random weekday when I was doing some research for a client that I have, a local client to me at the time. She finally made the decision that she was ready to invest in brand photography. And I was like, thank the heavens, because she had one photo that I have been using for the last several years. And so I was so excited to do some research on people that I thought could be a good brand photographer. So I typed into Google brand photographers near me, and went through a few of them. And I felt like the ones that came through in the search results in Google, like the first few were like, oh yeah, I do weddings and newborns and brand photography. They were kind of a big mix and not necessarily like a focus. And then some of the styles I wasn't the biggest fan of. And then I clicked on Jesse's website, and it's like a freaking like fireworks just went off. And I'm pretty sure you have like confetti and sparkles all over your website. So there's literal actual fireworks that went off. And I'm going through this, and everything down, like her copy, her photos, the videos, all of the language was almost speaking to me. And I know at that point that I was shopping for a client, but I was looking at this and I'm like, holy crap, well, I'm going to send this stuff to my client, but I'm also going to book a discovery call with this girl because she seems freaking cool.
Double whammy.
Yeah. So I was like, well, I just, I knew we were both local to Illinois at the time. And so I was like, I just need to meet her because she's obviously freaking cool. So that's kind of how it started. And then we obviously had our discovery call, which was booked. And Jesse shows up for the call, and freaking Who Run the World Girls is playing by Beyonce. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, I just loved her vibe. I was so excited to work with her. And I was so excited for my client to reach out to her too. Cause I'm like, oh my gosh, I found this super cool like woman that we have to both meet. And that's kind of how it first started.
For sure. And I think, so the moral of this story, in case you didn't get it, goes back to when she searched in Google and she searched for a certain search term near her. Okay, so this is where SEO becomes really, really important on your website, because when you're dealing with a service or product that is like locally based, okay, so obviously I'm a branding photographer in the Chicagoland area. So yes, I travel. If you would like to pay for me to come shoot your pictures in Hawaii, please reach out. But so I am obviously like, that is just a service that you have to be local for. Like, you have to be in the same place at the same time. And so had I not done the work beforehand, when I relaunched my brand, when I relaunched my website, if I had not taken the time to like put some focus and attention towards that tiny detail of a website, we might not have ever met. Mm-hmm. And that's a terrifying thought. I don't know about you. Like, that's an absolutely terrifying thought for me, because we wouldn't be right here right now today
without SEO.
Literally without SEO. Like, if that does not blow your mind, I don't know what does.
Like, so, SEO a few months ago, like we're talking
okay, so
3 or 4 months ago, 3 or 4 months ago, SEO brought us together. We've both purchased each other's services. We are now friends, and we are now like on a boss babe vacation, a boss babe retreat, we're calling it.
Feeling very relaxed with some golden eye patches and
We've got
some wine. Maybe
and
a little bit of Fireball.
Yeah, we also have some other goodies. But just because of SEO, like that's how much like the internet can change your life. And I know other people, like they've met their significant other on dating apps, or, you know, they've found their perfect dog on, you know, the whatever.
Are you comparing this to dogs?
Yes. Dogs are very important. But I'm just saying, like, the things that can change just because you decide to like search something, number one, and then number two, actually take action. I was like, I'm on her website. I'm obsessed with her. At the end of the day, I just wanted to have a phone conversation with you. Like, not
Absolutely.
necessarily did I know like, oh, I'm going to buy her services. Like, I needed to gauge, you know, I was ready to take photos, but I was also in the process of moving, you know that too. So I had to really, I just wanted to have that initial conversation. And I think that's the beauty of it. I was just like, I just don't care what comes of this. I just want to talk to you.
Yeah,
and that wouldn't have happened without the SEO and without your website and branding being fabulous.
So the second part of that, you know, and this is an issue that I have come to me a lot with a lot of my clients, is that, you know, they send me their Google Analytics and they're like, I get lots of people on my site. Why am I not getting clients, right?
Because you're boring AF.
No filter here today. No filter. Call to actions are completely like the number one thing that is so important about your website. So there are obviously a million things that are important. I would say that one thing that I get told a lot that's different about my website, besides just kind of like showing up and feeling like glitter is actually falling on you, is that I completely rehauled all of the copy on my website so that when you come to my website, it is how I would be speaking to you in real time. Because I don't want to, you know, attract someone who is attracted to proper grammar, because guess what? That is like not me. I'm more like, hey y'all, what's going on? I'm not even Southern. I'm not even like, no. But like,
or someone who doesn't like swearing.
I kept it pretty clean on the website.
Okay.
I kept it pretty clean on the website. I feel like I might have dropped a shit in there maybe once or twice, but
dropped a shit. The word.
Recover.
We can't laugh too hard, we found, because these little collagen eye masks will like pop off. So like we're keeping it tame for you all.
So the moral of that aspect, thank you. Mm-hmm. The moral of that aspect too. Okay, so SEO is a very important part. SEO is how you are going to get people to your site. Mm-hmm. Okay, but that second piece is how you're going to get them to, like she said, take action. Okay, they need to want to take action, and they also need to feel like if they don't take action right now, they're screwed. Okay. So like you also want to make sure that there's that FOMO factor where, you know, they're like, I cannot go another minute without learning more about either like who she is or what she does or how we can work together or whatever. Like that's what you want. And I would not want to evoke that feeling with like super proper text and like all of that, because you're going to have a call with me and you're going to be like, yo, who is this bitch?
I think I am on the wrong call.
That is just not genuine. That's not authentic. And, you know, the number one thing I think that I am coaching people on right now in their business, I'm working with a lot of clients, I think, that are at sort of a stop in their business. They're at like a turning point and they don't
crossroads.
Yes, they're at a crossroads or they're at a fork and they are like so unsure of what to do because they don't know what's not working. And so when it comes down to their web, obviously design has a big role in that as well. But the biggest factor that I see with most people is their lack of call to action. It's not even their SEO. It's their lack of call to action. Okay. So maybe 10 years ago, having a website that was informational so that people could, you know, just hop on it and like see what you do. Maybe that worked 10 years ago. That does not work today. And it's not that it doesn't, but that's way more work for you. Don't you want this to be easier? Like, don't you want to be standing here wearing gold things on your eyes and like recording a podcast because you have time and money and success and like all this? Like, don't you want that? Right?
Think of how people consume information now. It's not long form anymore. Like, think of, we like short videos. That's why YouTube has shorts now. We like TikToks. We like reels. We like small consumable bites of information. The general public wants quick wins. We want quick transformations, and we want Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, we want everything like here and now, right? Amazon
Totally.
Prime, can I get this in 30 minutes delivered to my house and set in my hand? Yeah, well, sign me up.
Thanks a lot, Amazon.
We don't want we don't want Amazon Prime. We want Prime now. Like
yesterday.
So I think that's an important aspect too, is like how that's shifted how people consume information. And the way that I consumed your information was that it was very conversational. I could put myself in the shoes of the person that you were speaking to.
And that's also because a lot of the wording on my website focuses more on the customer than it does on me. Like, yes, you found my website. Yes, you need to know what I do. But when I tell you what I do in terms of how you're transformed, how it changes you, what problems you have, because I know that you have those problems. And as a woman entrepreneur, I know that admitting that I have those problems, admitting that I'm lacking something in my business is like, it's a mind F, right? You know, like it's kind of like, it all goes back to like how I define success, right? If I have a block that I can't control or that I can't contribute to, like it's something that I can't do, I freak the F out, right? I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a failure. So it's like, there's a lot of facets to it, but you know, like I know that someone out there, at least one person can connect like with this. And I want to say one more thing, that when she was talking, I had this like light bulb, this like mic drop moment in my head.
Don't drop the mic, so these are expensive. Yeah.
So when she told you a couple minutes ago about her like experience, what it was like for her to come on the site and whatever, well, guess what? Because I am such a experience focused business owner, word of mouth has so much power and is free 90 freaking 9. Okay. So not only was she blown away by the website and she felt this way, she shared that with someone else. Okay. The power of that in itself, if you are not taking advantage of the customer experience to turn into word of mouth, to turn into clients, you are seriously missing out. You are seriously wasting time, energy, and money putting this out in the world and not giving them a reason to do something, right? So like she felt inclined to do something. Not only did she do something by booking a discovery call, but she did something by telling someone else that she knew needed the same thing. She told them, and in telling them in that excitement, that person's now excited. Well, guess what? That person's probably going to tell a couple other people too. And like when it comes to trust, that's a spider web, right? So like if one person trusts you, the next person trusts you too, at least a little bit.
And the funny part is like I sent your stuff over before I even talked to you. So I was like, hey, this person looks super cool. I'm going to talk to her. You should too. And I sent your stuff over to my client, and yeah, you ended up taking her photos, and now you're also her client.
And
it is a web.
I was just going to say, and then if you are someone like me who is a multi-passionate and you offer more than one service, okay, again, it's like the power in this is just so huge, because she was looking for, her name is Amy. She's amazing. We're going to just say her name now because it's way easier. Hi, Amy. So she was looking for a brand photographer for Amy. Okay. Brand photographer. That's what she was looking for. Okay. And I promise I'm not here to like brag about this. I just want to give you a picture of what this one moment turned into. Okay. So Bree found me on Bree found me on Google with like basically through local SEO. Okay. Bree was looking for Amy. Bree found me. She stole me first and then was like, oh, hey, Amy, you can have her too.
I guess I'll share.
So the Google search was branding photographer near me. Okay. So let's talk about Amy for a second. Amy did a branding shoot, fabulous as hell. Oh my God, if you need help with like organization and like Google Workspace, she is your freaking master to go to. I will leave her information in the show notes because you need to check her out. She's crazy amazing. If you see her pictures, I took them.
Okay, if you see her socials, I did it.
Okay, so
enough clout.
So then Amy also realized that she had a gap in her brand, and that was her visual branding was not aligned. Okay, so now she had these amazing images that depicted who she was, what her brand was like, clean, crisp, bright. And now she had a logo, a brand, or a lack of logo. I don't even remember. She had a lack of alignment. Okay. And now because she came to me and she trusted me and we talked a lot, we built this like relationship so instantly. Then we took over her branding and we rehauled her branding. And so, and then we got Bree here. Okay. So then Bree comes on and she's like, well, I'm not giving it away to just her. Like, I need a branding shoot too. So Bree does a branding shoot.
And now we're all fighting over Jessie. Like, oh, she's mine. Oh, she's mine. No, just kidding.
Well, now Bree is on the list for a brand new website in January.
Yes. Now Jessie's doing my website.
I want you to look at this from like the bird's eye view and see how one freaking moment changed everything, like literally changed everything, because not only did that become a job for me, 2 jobs for me, 4 jobs for me, if you want to be, super technical, but now me and Bree are in this position where we are polar opposite people, which we will get to in a minute. But like we are now aligning in this vision, and we come at this vision from 2 totally different aspects. And, we were talking earlier, and I don't remember how the conversation started, but it was talking about how like I'm a visionary. I'm 1,000% a visionary. I can look forward and I can like viscerally see and feel the vision. Like I know what it is and I know what the end point is. But I, as a creative brain, struggle with like the in between. I struggle with breaking that down, right? Like breaking that down into smaller pieces. I want like, I'm that instant gratification person. I'm like, I know what I want and I want it right now.
Yeah.
And Bree comes in and she's like, yo, bitch, slow your roll. Like, hold on a minute. You got to like get from A to B before
I'm like
you get
the
to
nerd.
Z.
I'm like, well, we don't technically have the right systems to get there. So we have to backtrack a little bit.
So what's part 1 of your system? Crickets. Like, huh? Okay,
like,
so
I don't know. We just want to do this.
Okay, so let's stop rambling about that. Let's go back into a little bit about us
can I
and
say
our
something?
differences. Yeah.
Okay. I want to say something about us and our differences, but before we go on, I want to say something about like a big mistake with SEO.
Why?
Because we were talking about it earlier. With like, if you are investing in your website and you have someone amazing like Jessie do it, it is an absolute waste to have a website that is beautiful and gorgeous, one like yours, and then not invest the extra mile in the SEO.
Think of it as like SEO is kind of almost like the gas in your car. Maybe. So
It helps your website go further than just sitting there.
Anywhere.
Yeah. Otherwise it's sitting there. Yeah.
You need it to move. You need it to go to where you need to go. Right. So it's like SEO is kind of like really your SEO is almost like your spine. It's almost like the bones in your body that like without that, you're literally not structured. Like you literally have no structure. You have no meaning. There's no rhyme, no reason. Like SEO is kind of literally the backbone, and then our skin is kind of the design, it's this beautiful, it's this beautiful thing.
But like, you can't show it off unless you do the right things. You're all the hard work on your website. So I'm just saying SEO, how we got here today, it's a big mistake not to invest in it because otherwise you have this amazing website that no one can find or see. And then also speaking of mistakes, I think we should do one right now.
Are you telling me that this fireball is a mistake?
It is because it's warm and I'm kind of like bougie and I like it cold, but okay.
Oh, please. I don't think you're supposed to shake.
I've always wanted to try ASMR.
Okay. Is this like one shot? I'm confused.
Yes, it is.
Oh dear. Okay.
Well, here's 2 mistakes.
In SEO.
You have to. Do you not know how to take a shot?
Apparently not. What the hell is going on? Well, we found one commonality.
It tastes like Christmas.
We can tolerate fireball.
Yeah, cold preferred, but that'll do.
I can't hold the mic anymore, so I'm like coming down here for a minute.
I have permanent scars from this microphone. I'm going to sue you, Jessie.
No, I'm not hungry. I'm just raising my mic. Okay. Everything's fine. Okay. So.
Our differences. Our differences.
Yes. Okay.
You like warm fireball. I like cold fireball.
To be fair, I have a giant bottle of fireball in the freezer at home.
Thank God.
I like it anyway. It doesn't matter. Okay, so in real time, we are currently in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. So to give you some perspective, it was July, correct?
When your SEO led me to you.
Yes. Okay, so it was July. It's currently December. August, September, October, November, December. Yes, I am okay at math.
It's late.
So it is December. That means in 5 months, me and Breanna got close enough to feel as though we could go to a external random town
And not be murdered.
for a weekend. And like,
We've met in person one other time.
that's fair because I shot your branding shoot. Yeah, that's fair. But now we are like doing 1,000 million things together. So basically
We're doing collaborations and we're business partners essentially in some aspects.
Absolutely. And it was funny. We were talking about it earlier. And we basically dated for like 2 weeks and then we got engaged.
And now we're on our honeymoon in Cedar Rapids.
I didn't even think of the honeymoon
And if this
part. I
isn't
don't
on
remember.
your like destination for your honeymoon, you are
Who the hell
really
picked
missing
this
out.
city for a honeymoon?
Hey, I'm sure people do it.
JK.
No judgment. But so all the things that we've accomplished, right, in the last few months, or all the things that have changed because of the SEO, just meeting each other, right?
Yeah. So I mean, to even add on to what we talked about before, we have now also together taken on a pretty big client. It's very exciting company that we are helping them re-strategize their entire brand. And so we are doing that together. Like we jumped into this project. I mean, that project started like
October.
so like 2 or 3 months after we start, just like after we met.
And Jesse originally got asked to do this project. You had the connection, and then you're like, well, I'm not doing it. Like, Breanna has to come with us. And she vouched for me and was like, nope, like this project needs like an executor and like a project manager. And so she brought me along as the online business manager to really help implement and get things done.
And I think I told you one time that, obviously in the beginning, in the dating phase of a business or a relationship or whatever, you're obviously learning a lot of things about each other. And we're obviously still learning a lot of things about each other. But I had a moment of like visceral, like overwhelm. And if I cry now, don't worry about me. But like I had this moment where I had this visceral, just overwhelming feeling that I was so nervous because I had never, like I basically told her, I have never gotten into bed so quickly with someone. Like obviously not really, but like I had never felt so comfortable in sharing what I've built to like with someone else to continue building that, to continue impacting so many people in their brands. And I was like, bitch, I'm scared. Like, don't
here's all my login information. Just run my socials and log into my billing portals. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It requires a lot of trust.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about all of our differences and why that makes us like the perfect duo, because we're like the yin and yang, the salt to the pepper, the mac to the cheese, the peanut butter to the jelly. What else could there be?
Let's rapid fire this.
The celery sticks to the ranch.
Okay, let's get back to like our differences and why they're amazing, like why they're a great thing. Because we spent a ton of time talking today about a lot of things in both of our businesses, but we spent a lot of time realizing, like rationalizing isn't the right word, but like really realizing that difference is good. Difference is really good. Like you can have this vision that can be tripled by sharing that vision with someone who looks at things different. Right.
And in the past, you had only hired people named Jessica. I think she has 3 people on her team named Jessica.
Don't attack the Jess squad, okay?
And I'm attack the Jess squad. Like, oh no. She's explaining her other contractors or business partners or team members to me. And she's like, oh no, that's the other Jessica. I'm like, how many Jessicas are there? How many Jessicas are there?
There's 3 of us.
Yeah, there's tons of Jessicas.
There's 3 of us.
Yeah. And yeah,
More on that later.
So we needed a Breanna.
Yeah, so we needed like just something. We needed something else. And funny enough, when I was in college, my maiden name was Bortner. And so in college, there were also 3 Jesses on my volleyball team. When I was in college, there was 3 of us. And so my name in college was JB. But when you put us together,
we're B&J.
Let's be JB instead of the other way.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, okay, so
differences.
let's like rapid fire some of the things that we like learned about each other that were super different and how we are like planning to capitalize on that.
Okay.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Visionary, realist.
Yes. Okay. So I have tried this Enneagram thing like a million times and I always get a different number. But it is clear that
multiple personalities, one personality.
there is no denying. No one would deny this. Nobody that knows me would deny this. I am 1000% a visionary. I have the means to execute, but I don't have the time necessarily to execute. And so what I'm learning, what she's bringing to me is learning how to delegate, learning how to let go, learning how to be the person who sees the bigger vision and allowing somebody else to help us get to that vision. Okay. So, like she mentioned about all the Jesses, something that I had told her that I had like a, just an overwhelming feeling of realization that I have been trying to hire someone like me for so long. So many people can attest to this that like I constantly talk about how I just need a clone. I just need a clone. If I could just get a clone of myself, all would be well, all would be perfect, all would be great. And what I've realized along the way is that I kept doing that. I had such a firm belief that that was the right thing. And it just like never worked out. It's just like,
like fire and fire, instead of fire and ice.
She asked me earlier, would you like to be married to yourself? And I was like, hell no.
God, absolutely not. So that's it.
Okay, so that's one.
That's one. Can you think of one?
She made me meditate this morning. That was weird.
I thrive off of rest. I do. And so you hustle. You're a hustler.
1000%.
Your girl's not a hustler. I have to build it. I've definitely hustled. I've burnt out and I've taught myself not to do that. That's why I started to be an entrepreneur, is because I literally couldn't keep up with the life I was supposed to have per society. So yeah, I take mindful breaks. I will take a nap in the middle of the day if I'm feeling tired. I will go on a walk if I'm feeling uninspired. I will book a vacation just for the hell of it. Like I need that stuff. I need yoga. I need movement, all of that. And I think you do that stuff, but I don't think you do it for rest. I think you do it because you like to fill up your calendar. So this weekend, I've been giving Jessie a lot of permission to just like rest. It's like I ran out to go get food and she's like, oh, I'm going to keep researching stuff. I'm like, Jessie, I'm going to take a break.
Like, bitch, you go walk up and down those stairs a couple of times and get your ass away from that computer.
So I was like, permission to take a rest. So I think we balance each other out in that aspect, that like she's maybe go, go, go. And I'm like, hey, like, let's take it back a notch. I don't want to burn out in the holiday season.
I have to say, I think I'm instilling a little bit of hustle in her because it's 11 at night and we've been literally working all day and last night. And she was like, so did you want to record one more podcast episode before we go to bed? And I was like, not really, but sure.
Well, this is like my normal bedtime, but like when you're with someone this fun, like the energy is just here. Like it's not like you're a boring person and we're doing boring things. We're loving what we're doing. And so it's easy to stay up and like do that. And that's what I love also about you is like you're so multi-passionate. So that's one thing that I would say that we're opposite in, is that I'm still like discovering myself and trying to figure out like what it is that I like love to do and that I can do better than nobody else. Yes, I have these administrative skills and people management skills and all that sort of stuff, but you have like true hobbies. And so that's one thing that I think that is really cool about you, that you're inspiring me to do, is like find that thing. You love 3D printing. You love making beer. You love going to breweries. You love design, photography. buying tons of equipment. Oh my gosh, this woman is like Mary Poppins. You need a gadget. She's freaking got
we
it.
might be recording like a behind the scenes of this for like a time lapse, and she's like, "Oh, let's put this upstairs." And I'm like, "Oh man, my phone thing doesn't like angle." And
Tilt.
she goes, "Oh, well maybe I can go. Never mind." And I like pull something out of my bag, and she's like, "Of course you do. Of course you have something. Never mind."
She has like every gadget ever. So I love
"What
that
else
about you.
Sticks her head in my bag. What else you got in this Mary Poppins
Yes.
bag?
And I definitely have things that I'm passionate about, but you have so many. And I do love that about you.
On that topic, though, I feel like it's important to recognize that, like, it took me a long time to get here. It took me, testing the waters in a lot of different places. And, what I realized when I restructured my business to what it is now is that I looked back at the last 10 years of my life and I said, okay, I've been doing all these things. I've been doing all these things for so many clients. How can I continue to do these things that I love, but not be so burnt out? Spoiler alert, I'm still burnt out, but like on a different level. Okay. And what I came to the realization of was that I needed to look at it from a bird's eye view. And I needed to say, what commonalities are there here? How can I create more of a map? Like, how can I create more of an experience that takes them from one thing to another to give me less clients, but more work? That doesn't really sound right. Like less clients for the same amount of work, but instead of having a million clients doing a million things, you can at least bring down a little bit of your admin work when you're speaking to less people, right? And so now I also feel like I'm at a point where by doing that, by developing this niche to be this like full rounded boutique sort of agency, like one-on-one agency, what I'm offering people is the same thing. One less person or two less people or three less people when they can have one point of contact to
You're
be able to do all those
like
things.
The value of your customer. Essentially, like from marketing terms, like you're like the lifetime value of like what someone would invest in you, since you have so many different passions.
For sure.
You're increasing the value versus if you
1,000%
want websites, they couldn't pay you for anything else because they already have a website.
Absolutely. But it also goes to say that, like, they all go hand in hand. So when, as a branding photographer, what makes me different is I am a web designer. I am a branding designer. So when I'm shooting for the end result.
They're all
shooting
connected.
For the brand, not just taking your picture. I want to know more about your business. I want to know what emotion you're trying to evoke. I want you to have this same, I want your customers to have the same experience when they go to your website and see your pictures and your website to be like, damn, I need to talk to this girl. That's, I want that for everybody. And so it definitely goes hand in hand. When I'm developing a website that I already shot their branding session, girl, like by the time I get to your website, I already know where everything's going. Like, because it all goes hand in hand. So like there's a strategy in like crisscrossing, because I know so many things about the other things. So it was able to crisscross them. Okay. It took me a long time to really realize that I was doing all the right things. I just wasn't doing them in the right order. I wasn't doing them in any type of process. And even when Breanna came, if she only knew what my like process looked like before I even met her, she doesn't need to know about that. But like it takes time. It takes time, and it takes the willingness to suck. It takes the willingness to like try something. And we talked about this a little bit earlier about failure. And actually there was something that came to mind when she was talking about how I have all these things. So what we discovered earlier, was like, as you guys know, the name of this podcast is Redefining Success. Okay. And something she asked me earlier.
Isn't it Redefining Fabulous?
Yeah. But we're redefining the definition of
what podcast am I on? What year is this? Where am I?
I hate you. Anyway, the realization we had before we were delirious was that because I said something like, I thrive in chaos. I keep saying that to people. I really do.
No.
I keep saying I thrive in chaos. And she's like, but why? And I'm like, I don't know. I knew that was going to happen. I'm like, I don't know. I like, if I don't feel busy, I feel like I'm not getting anything done. I feel like I'm not being, and it was this light bulb moment of like, I was partially defining success by how busy I am. And so if I can make myself super busy, that means I'm super successful. Well, guess what? Actually, I'm just super burnt out. Just super overwhelmed. I'm going to turn a different light on. Speak to the masses.
Do you actually want me to be saying things that matter or no? Yeah.
Figure out what the hell is going on. It's okay. Keep going. Okay.
So yeah, I guess I just want to think, before our under eyes burn off, because I'm pretty sure we can only leave these on for 20 minutes. I think it said 15 to 20 minutes, and we've been recording for more than that.
We did also say this was only going to be a
15 minutes. Episode. I said, Jesse, no one cares that much about us. We're staying busy. So if you guys are still listening to this podcast, I really appreciate that you care this much about this story, because it is super fun. Like, it's a story about like friendship, about business partnership, about trying new things. I'm going to go back and say that again.
Sorry, I dropped something.
So if you've been listening along to this story still, I just want to say thank you, because it is a really fun story to listen to. Like, it's a business, it's...
And here's the thing.
I want to say that over.
What'd you say? So
if you're still, I told Jesse that this, okay, I'm starting over in 5, 4.
Just be quiet. Give me an audio that's flat.
I told Jesse that this podcast wouldn't be longer than 15 minutes because no one cares about us. I said no one cares about us enough to listen for more than 15 minutes, but we've been going on for a long time now. So if you're still listening, I just want to say thank you, because this truly is a story that's like anyone could put themselves in our shoes. And it's like a story about like friendship. It's a story about business partnership, just like going out on a limb and like asking someone to talk with you and getting to know them. So if you're still listening, I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome. Also, you guys are going to be hearing a lot more from Breanna, because I feel like we are just going to have to create our very own segment. Because I feel like every time that we sit down to do any kind of work, and even not work, even anytime we sit down to speak out loud about anything, I at least feel like I am being open to seeing things from a different point of view. Like I told her earlier, like I'm fascinated by how you view this. I don't remember what we were doing.
This feels like therapy, but it's a good thing. And I was like, great. Well, I have no background in therapy, so I hope this is fine.
She just the way that we see things, even in systems, like she'll say like, oh, see, here's this perfect list. And I'm like, yeah, no, I can't look at that and not be overwhelmed. Like, let's look at it in a calendar view. It's fascinating. It's incredibly fascinating.
She has to see things visually in a calendar view, where I like things in lists, like vertical lists. It's so unique how we...
And I needed to see it in a calendar. I need to see it in a calendar. I need to be able to see what today is, see what's past due or ignore what's past due, see what's due today, see what's due tomorrow, see the color coding of it. And that's just how my brain works. And so it's fascinating to me that like, it's possible for somebody else to only be able to process it in the opposite manner. So you guys are going to be here. I don't know, maybe our segment should be called like Opposites Attract or something. I don't know. Ooh. But you guys are going to be hearing a lot more from me and Breanna. But for today, we are going to wrap this up because we are 40 minutes in with eye patches that were supposed to come off at 20.
So in our next video, we're going to have like these gray marks. We might have to have skin removed.
Don't worry. Sure. If that happens, you'll see the photos on social media.
Yeah, we'll sue this company.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. I super, super appreciate you, and we will chat soon.
Bye.
I lost it when...